Welcome to Case by Case. We want to just take a moment and remind you that this content is intended for adult audiences. It is created for educational and informational purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised, as discussions may include references to real criminal cases, violence, and other sensitive and potentially distressing topics. While we strive to present every case with accuracy and respect those involved, the material may not be suitable for all viewers. Please proceed thoughtfully. And remember, if you need to take a step back, if you find something that concerns you, if you find it to be triggering and you need to take a step back, please do. You can join us whenever you're ready to come back. We'll leave the light on. Welcome back to Case by Case. So we are going to recap day 2 of the Colin Gray trial. If you aren't sure what this is about, go to the earlier recording, for episode 1 of this, and it'll give you the full recap of what the case is about and all of that. What I want to talk about here is today was really a short day. Court ended early, around 3:30 maybe. But all day today, it was nothing but witness after witness after witness of people that were in the courtroom. Were in the classroom or were in the classroom next to it. So you had a lot of students whose faces were not shown. And it was another really emotional day. You had a teacher that testified who had been shot in the hip, and he testified about, how this affected him, what happened. And then you also had a teacher who had witnessed him being shot in the hip because he was in her class and was coming back in the door. And she assisted him to try to stop the bleeding. So, and then we saw some video on that. There were many students that testified that although this didn't physically, they've either recovered or they were witnesses to it very close up, this has really affected them long term, because it's given them panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and they can't sleep. Many of them have fears of buildings, fears of being in crowds. There was one guy there it was really heartbreaking because he thought he is the one that left the door open. And that's how Colt, the shooter, came in and shot his classmates and the coach. That's not what happened at all. And later on, the authorities at school or his classmates or someone made sure that he understood that he was not the one. And it took a load off of him because he had major survivor guilt as a result of all of that. The other thing that came up today, many things that came up today, were on the streams I was watching. Many people are still asking, why are we going through all of this when Colin is the father and not the shooter himself? But understand that the elements of the crime still have to be proven. So even though he did not fire the weapon, because he's being charged with manslaughter and second degree, all of those have to be proven. So it has to be proven that the crime happened, has to be proven that murders happened, it has to be proven that there were injuries that took place, and that people's lives have been altered. All of this stuff that you would prove in Colt's trial has to be proven in the dad's trial. Now, I think we might be through this part of it. I'm not 100%, but I think we might be through it. And then what I think will happen is the next section will be focusing on how the dad was instrumental in providing Colt with the firearm and not paying any attention to his needs and being negligent to his needs and not listening to the warning signs, not getting him help. I think that's what the next part of this trial is going to be about. But for right now, this is where we stand. We just had witness after witness take the stand and describe what they saw, whether they were shot or not, whether they saw someone shot, whatever happened. So we may be through that soon. So anyway, that tonight's recap is really short because there just wasn't a lot of meat and potatoes there. I mean, it was heart-wrenching. Don't get me wrong. It was really, really heart-wrenching to hear. You know, you had one student who talked about her friend being shot and knowing from the fixed gaze in his eyes that he, you know, his eyes kind of glazed over, that he was gone. It was just, nobody should have to go through that, let alone a child, especially not in a school. You know, they're there to learn and be kids. They're not there to have things alter their life significantly because one person decides to take out his, you know, frustrations and anger on the school, a school of which he had only been there 2 days. He'd only been enrolled there 5 days. So again, hopefully we'll start to get into how the dad came into this, because, you know, just from what we've heard, it sounds like the dad really just knew this could happen and just ignored it. But we want to see what really happens in the trial. So this is Case by Case, and I will talk to you on the next episode, which will be